There is much that ails the demolition and construction industry. Site accidents and fatalities, a mental health crisis in which the industry has a suicide rate almost four times the national average, a gender and racial imbalance that persists despite years of awareness campaigns and hollow promises, cutthroat competition that forces contractors to underbid, underdeliver, and undervalue the very workers who make their businesses possible, unreasonable contract and employment terms that shift all the risk downward onto the shoulders of those least able to carry it, equipment and fuel theft that adds insult to injury on already strained margins, an employee churn rate that has workers queuing up at the industry exit while the industry entrance is almost eerily quiet. We like to treat these as isolated problems. We spend millions on new PPE initiatives, mental health posters, diversity programs, contract reforms, and security upgrades. Each issue is treated as a separate fire to be extinguished, a leak to be plugged, a nuisance to be managed. But what if I told you that all of these issues, all of them, stem from the same poisoned well? That there is a single remedy, a cure, a panacea to all of the industry's ills. And that panacea comes in a single word: respect. Respect is not just politeness or the avoidance of cruelty. It's a foundational principle upon which sustainable, thriving industries are built. It's the understanding that every life on the job matters, not because of regulations or insurance risks, but because behind every hard hat and every high vis jacket is a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, a son, or a daughter. Respect is realizing that safety is not a box to tick, but a duty of care owed to every single human being who sets foot on a site. When we truly respect the lives and well-being of our workers, safety improves. Investment in training and equipment becomes non-negotiable. Corners aren't cut because cutting corners would mean disrespecting the trust our workers place in us every day. Fatalities drop. Accidents drop. Most importantly, families stay whole. Respect also demands that we look hard at the mental health crisis we've allowed to fester. We can't solve mental health struggles with a toolbox talk or a poster campaign. We can't address crushing loneliness, burnout, addiction, and despair with another corporate newsletter or corporate video. Respect means creating real support structures, real counselling access, real understanding, not judgment, not ridicule, not false silence. When workers feel respected, they're more likely to speak up before they reach breaking point. When respect permeates an organization, it stops being a source of silent suffering and starts becoming a place of solidarity, of strength, and of hope. The suicide rate isn't just a statistic, it's a daily and damning indictment of an industry that has too often mistaken toughness for cruelty and resilience for silence. Respect demands that we acknowledge the imbalance of gender and race across the industry, not by posting a carefully staged photo of a lone woman or a minority worker once a year, but by dismantling the systems that have kept them excluded, undermined, and unrecognized. It means hearing the voices that have far too long been shouted over. It means creating workplaces where anyone with skill, passion, and drive can thrive without facing harassment, mockery, or second guessing. Diversity isn't a nice to have, it's a must have. It's an industry survival mechanism. A diverse workforce brings diverse thinking, resilience, and adaptability, the very traits that an evolving, challenged industry so desperately needs. But diversity can't flourish without respect at its root. Respect even has a role in fixing the cutthroat competition that has hollowed out the hearts of this industry. When we respect the work itself, when we recognise that skilled demolition and construction are arts, sciences, and crafts, we stop engaging in the race to the bottom. We stop undercutting to win at any cost. We stop celebrating the lowest bid instead of the best value. Contracts should be built on fairness, not the desperate hope that someone will take the bait and figure out how to survive later. Employment terms should honour the fact that without workers, there is no project, no profit, no future. Respect leads to sustainable pricing, sustainable business practices, and ultimately a sustainable industry. Even theft, that daily scourge of stolen tools, fuel, and machines, has its roots in disrespect. Disrespect for other people's property, disrespect for the hard work that paid for that equipment, disrespect for the shared goal of building something together instead of tearing each other down. A culture of respect breeds loyalty and pride. It makes the theft of a co worker's tools not just a crime, but a betrayal. It makes every worker a steward of the site, their equipment, and their community. Finally, respect is the answer to the silent cues we see, people leaving the industry faster than we can replace them. You can't attract the next generation of workers with money alone. You can't lure them with promises of opportunity while offering a life of grind, danger, and disregard. Young people today want and deserve to work where they're valued, where they're heard, where they can build careers, not just serve sentences. Respect isn't old fashioned, it's the most modern, radical, and necessary force we have. If we want to fill our sites tomorrow, we need to build a culture of respect today. We could have the safest boots, the highest fences, the toughest contracts, and the flashiest recruitment ads. But without respect, all of those are bandages on a severed limb. They treat the symptoms, but not the disease. They delay the collapse, but they don't prevent it. And respect is not a cost, it's not a burden, it's an investment in the future. And the return on that investment is survival, prosperity, pride, and human dignity. There is much that ails the demolition and construction industry, but there's also a lot that could heal it. Not through bureaucracy, not through empty slogans, but through a simple, profound change in mindset. Respect. It starts with how we speak to one another. It grows in how we treat one another. It blooms in the policies we write, the standards we set, and the expectations we uphold. It's one word, one cure, one solution. As Aretha Franklin said, RESPECT, respect.